Hey guys, what's up? So this is a bit of an unusual video, but it's been on my mind, it's been on my heart. Lost sleep over it tonight. And I've been up redoing this video many times. I don't write scripts, I just speak from the heart. Warframe should have won last night, and I can understand why it may not have won, but I like to say why I think it did not win. And I want to be honest. I think the new player experience needs to be updated. All these missions need to be separated. There needs to be a main storyline and sub quest. There needs to be like main quest, sub quest. Main quests are what you need to do to get to Saya's Vigil, to say that you are ready to fight Eidolons. You're a big boy now. You're ready to take on the full game in all of its glory. You're at the right mastery rank. You've gotten all the Warframes that you need throughout the solar system. Blah 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 blah. Saya's Vigil is point B. Point A is when you awake, when you make your character. That's point A. So if we have point A to point B, and I know some people would probably say either Nata or Second Dream or The War Within is point B, but to be honest, Saya's Vigil is point B. Warframe now has a point A to point B setup. You know, we're no longer in the grind fest, grind house, you know, where it's just log in, grind for items, get platinum, sell stuff, get primes, get mods. We actually have a point A to point B now. There's a story, there's a main story that's developing that has you choosing your options for your destiny of your character. And it is that serious. You know, there are things that you need to know, like where to find the Oculus to start Nata, which it does not tell you in game how to do everything from point A to point B. And I'm not trying to like get on D Scott's case or anything. Love D Scott, love what he's doing. I know he's like got a lot to handle, but maybe it's time to set a small team aside and work on the new player experience, because I think that is what's holding Warframe back the most out of everything. Not the complaints, not the buffs and nerfs, not all this other stuff, not all this other crap. The new player experience is honestly what holds Warframe back and shows that this game is old. And I hate to say it like that, but it's true. A lot of old games, and I mean old games that are still running, like Vindictus, DCUO, I could name a whole bunch of others, but I'm not going to. Games that have been running for like 4 to 5 years have a horrible new player experience. They keep adding on newer and newer content to games because they have great ideas, or they have, you know, they want to support like an idea that they have or a story that they didn't touch up on, or maybe they have a new system that they came up with. Games that are 4 to 5 years old always have ways of creating new content, but that content is mostly always geared towards older players. You know, people who have been playing the game for 3-4 years, maybe even a year and a half. And if you've been playing the game for that long, you know what to do, you know how to get around, you know what's going on, you know where to go for information and stuff like that. But for new players, that's what sets them apart. Like Vindictus. I'll use Vindictus as an example. If you start up Vindictus right now, you're going to get hit with a really old tutorial system, and then a very slow and old progression system to get you caught up in the game. And while they've touched up that tutorial mission a couple times to update it for newer characters and newer systems, it still looks like the way it did on launch. And I'm not even joking. A lot of the old areas in Vindictus still look exactly the same way they did at launch for the level like 1 through 30 something odd, you know, progression to get you caught up in the game, to make sure you know all the systems and how to do everything and stuff like that. Another example, DC Universe Online still looks the same way it did when it launched. even after the upgrades. Like, they're ending their PS3 support next month in January, but even still, the game, I think it was made in Unreal 2 or 3. It still looks exactly the same as it did, no matter how many graphical updates they do. They can't upgrade the UI and like all this other stuff. Warframe doesn't have, like these other games, a traditional level 1 through 30 story progression, where when you hit that level 30 cap, there's more to do, but they've taught you everything. Warframe doesn't have that. Warframe needs that. Warframe needs that more than anything. And I feel that that's what's holding it back. And to me, that when I was thinking and ignoring all the stupidity, like, oh, Warframe's a beta, that's why they didn't win, from like Discords and Twitter and stuff like that. Because if you know about Warframe, you know it's not in beta. But not having that set point A to point B progression, where you don't have to hold the player's hand and say, hey, do this, hey, do this, do this, now do this, now do this, now do this. That gets boring. But at least point them in the right direction. Because of the Foundry, and the Foundry is a system I feel that needs to be touched up on again. Because although, yes, you can have stuff that's made in a minute, to 3 hours, to an hour, to 12 hours, to even 72 hours for a Warframe. That slows down progression a lot. Like, unless there's side quests to do, and there's a bunch of side quests, and there's a bunch of farming and, you know, resource gathering, but it doesn't tell you that. There's nowhere in game where it tells you, okay, while this is going on, do this, you know, do something else. It's just wait for it to end, you know? And with a lot of new players, that is a major issue. It's like, okay, they started on Earth, you know, they know how to use the basic controls, and it's like, okay, you know, I started off with Excalibur as an example. I want a new Warframe. I like this one, or I don't like this one, but I want something different. So then they go to Venus and they get Rhino. You know, that the grind for Rhino is worth a week, maybe. Just to make Rhino is about a week span. I'm not saying it's exactly a week span, but I'm saying it's around a week. Because you have to get the parts. You have to unlock the nodes first to then get to the boss. Then once you get to the boss, you have to grind the boss for all 3 parts. Then once you grind the boss for all 3 parts, then you have to make the parts and have the resources. So you have to grind for the resources in order to make each individual part. And then once you make each individual part, you need to make the Warframe, which takes 72 hours. And if you're not planning on spending any money in the game, because this is a free-to-play game, you don't have to spend money. It does feel like there's a pseudo paywall in the game right off the bat. Because I get this all the time when I play. Because people see my mastery rank, or they see me streaming, and they know I've been playing the game for years, because they can tell. They're like, Phoenix, how do I get more weapon slots? Can you only get weapon slots with platinum? And I say yes. And I know where this conversation goes every time I get this question from new players. Well, how do I get platinum? I don't want to spend real money. I heard you can get platinum without spending real money. Okay, well, you have to trade for it. Where do I go to trade? Tell them where to trade. Okay, no one's buying anything. Well, you got to sell stuff that people want. What do people want? Prime parts and other rare items. Well, I don't have access to that stuff. I've only unlocked Venus. Well, you need to get relics and do that. You need to just keep playing through the story, you know. But they're like, but I can't progress through the story because I can't move up in mastery rank because I don't have weapon and Warframe slots because I've already used them all. And I don't want to delete what I have because it's what's got me this far. And it's like all I can give them is more bad news after more bad news and just continue to crush their hopes. And like I've seen this with other players, like even in chat doing missions, some people are like, man, this game is awesome, and they do the research and they expect the hardships to come, and some people are just not ready for it. And I'm not saying if you're not ready for it, you shouldn't play the game, but everyone should do research. It's a 4 to 5. It's a 4 going on 5-year-old game, and like other 4 going on 5-year-old games, it lacks information in game. You know, there's only so much information that's given, and then content creators, not like myself, because I don't cover Warframe on my channel. This is the second video I've covered with Warframe, but other YouTubers like Rob at a Gay Guy Plays, Magamu, Headshot, Tactical Potato, you know, DK. There are a lot of streamers, big streamers and small streamers and YouTubers that can give information and that have videos on information. A lot of the videos, I always direct people towards Rob at a Gay Guy Plays, because his videos are the most informative for every situation. If you need to know anything about Warframe, Rob's got you covered. He's got a video for everything, and he will update his videos if he needs to. Love Rob. Rob is amazing. But a lot of the information he covers should be in game. You know, a lot of things should be covered in game, which is what that point A to point B experience is for, to teach you the mechanics. And yes, Warframe changes every year. Every year there's a new system. Every year there's some change to the overall game that makes it play completely different, like the Plains of Eidolon, like the Second Dream, like the War Within. Each year this game has become something bigger and better than it was the year before. And I understand that there is only so much you can make when there's a constantly active development game that's changing and evolving, growing. But now that there is a point A to point B, there needs to be something. There needs to be a streamlined experience that can guide new players to not, and this is going to sound like I'm being messed up, but to not fight Eidolons under Mastery Rank 5. Every day, this conversation happens. Every day since Plains of Eidolon has dropped. Hey, you're Mastery Rank 22. We can't do damage to the Eidolon. Why is that? Well, as I'm typing in or saying over the mic, hey, you know, don't worry about it, you're just not at the right level yet. Well, all my Warframes and weapons are at rank 30 and I'm at Mastery Rank 5. I should be able to do damage to the Eidolon. Have you done the Second Dream yet? No. Where does it say that in the game? Every time. Where does it say that in game or in the game? It doesn't. How do I do the Second Dream? Look up a video. I'm telling them to leave the game to watch a video on YouTube, or to leave the game to look it up, you know, if they don't have a smartphone or whatever. If they don't, that's their problem. But you have to do research. Go to the wiki, go to someone's YouTube channel. I always push people towards Rob's channel because I don't feel like explaining stuff anymore. I've just lost my patience for doing it. And I just have the link on tap now. I have a notepad. I put it in chat in Warframe, and I'm like, watch this video. Copy and paste it. And I get this on PS4 and PC all the time. All the time. And they're like, well, I have to go do that quest in order to beat the Eidolon. Well, how come it didn't tell me that before I started to fight the Eidolon? Which is why I think the Plains of Eidolon at night should be locked for anyone who is under Mastery Rank 7. If you have, or just maybe not even Mastery Rank 7, but if you haven't completed the War Within, let's say, because the War Within is where you actually get the knowledge on how to fight Eidolons. The War Within, if you haven't completed the War Within, you cannot enter the Plains of Eidolon at night. It should be locked by your account, because it should be a part of the story progression to teach people how to get this far. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, this is what needs to be done badly. People need this information. It needs to be in game so that people aren't being discouraged. You know, they're going in, they're fighting an Eidolon, and they waste all their revives, and they're like, save me, we don't know what to do, what's wrong with us? And it's like, well, you didn't finish this, you didn't do this quest. Well, where does it say that in game? Every time. Like, if a small team at Digital Extremes could put together this masterpiece of the Plains of Eidolon in the amount of time they did, I'm pretty sure they can do something for the new player experience. I'm pretty sure a small team, I'm not saying the same small team, but I'm saying a small team at Digital Extremes could streamline that experience where when you awake, you know, Lotus is helping you. Lotus helps you with combat, missions, objectives, stuff like that. Once you get Ortis, and I know people hate Ortis, but Ortis is very essential to this game. Once you get Ortis, Ortis should be keeping you on track with your story progression. Operator, you need to go here. Operator, you need to go there. Operator, you should complete this quest. Operator, in order to do this, you need to do this. You know, like giving you that checklist of what to mark off, what's most important, keeping you on track and always progressing forward till you hit Saya's Vigil. Once you hit Saya's Vigil, I think you're fine. I think you're fine at that point. At that point, you're able to fight Eidolons. You're joining the Quills. You should know everything in the game by that point, right? Like, there should be nothing that would hold you back. You know, there are some other systems that need to be worked on, like I was saying earlier, like maybe, you know, the slots, you know, maybe the weapon and Warframe slots need to be worked on, you know. Maybe they just need more. Maybe mastery rank needs to be improved or redone, because mastery rank is only really good for increasing, you know, well, just increasing everything, increasing your loadouts, increasing how many points you can put towards your syndicates, increasing how many slots you get. Like, mastery rank should just be that. When you increase in mastery rank, you just get bonuses for it, and those bonuses should just be stuff that you get that's essential to you progressing in the game, like Warframe and weapon inventory slots. Let's say you get 2. I'm just throwing out a random number, but let's say you get 2 inventory slots for weapons and Warframes for each mastery level you increase up until mastery rank 8. That would give players enough to continually progress through the game and make it smoother, so that they're not hit with this pseudo paywall of, I need to spend money in order to keep playing this game, you know? So that way they don't feel like that. A lot of players have felt like that, and that's why they've quit the game. That's why they've made some ridiculous YouTube videos. I'm not going to name no names, but the story progression does need to be worked. And I know D. Scott has a lot on his plate. Man does so much. I have so much respect for him. He does such great work, and I mean that. I honestly mean that. He does great work, and so does everybody at Digital Extremes. They do amazing work, especially like this weather system that they added to the Plains of Eidolon. It's freaking amazing. Like, it was raining all last night, and I didn't even want to turn off the game until it stopped. Until it stopped raining, because it was just beautiful. But there are parts of the game that are still that are outdated, and that's what I want to say. They're outdated, and I feel like those outdated systems are just what's holding the game back from branching out to more people, to being, you know, playable for more people, maybe cutting down on in-game time or out-of-game time usage, like the Foundry, you know, making people feel like 3 days to make a Warframe is like extreme when they have limited time. And, you know, when players are new, and that's for any player, when you're new and you're playing with something that's new and shiny, you're like, man, I want it now. You know, I want to test it. I want to play it. You know, it's like 3 days. Dang, 3 days to make a Warframe? It took me almost 3 days to make each part, you know, to get the resources and stuff like that. You know, it's strenuous, but it slows people down. You know, at least have a point where you can get them to, which I say is point B, Saya's Vigil. Try to get them there from point A to point B within a week. They don't have to get everything, but they'll have enough to make them want to go and get everything else, you know? Give them some inspiration. Give them, you know, some incentive to want to go out and collect everything, because, you know, everything they got was starter. You know, the cracked mods I thought were a great idea, you know, which I thought there was a way to turn them into repaired mods. You know, I thought like you would get all these cracked mods as a new player, and then you repair them as you progress through the story. That's what I thought the cracked mods were for, the damage mods that Scott put into the game. There's so much room to work with a new player experience, or like a traditional startup level progression. There's so much room. Warframe's ceiling is so high, and you know, the changes could be coming this month. They said there's a big update coming before the end of the year. Heck, that could be part of the big update, but none of us know. Unless you have inside information, none of us know. You know, it could be already worked on. It could be already being mentioned. They could already know. Well, I'm pretty sure they already know, because it's been an issue for a couple years, but I think that's what's holding them back, and I think that's why they did not win. Because Warframe is not new player friendly. You know, Monster Hunter used to be that way, but then they revamped their system to get new players caught up with old players, and a lot of older games that have been running for a long time that weren't new player friendly have been making their games new player friendly the more and more they continue. Even fighting games are becoming new player friendly, despite the backlash from some ways that they try to do it. But you know, everybody wants to become new player friendly to get everybody into their game, to get everybody playing their game, so that everybody can have fun together, right? Like Destiny shortened, and I don't want to get into the Destiny discussion, but Destiny shortened their progression in the first Destiny because they wanted people to play with their friends in high level content faster. That was what they said in their interview at E3. They wanted people to get through the story progression, as slow and as dreadful as it is. They wanted people to get through that at a faster rate, to get to playing with their friends and raids, and, you know, higher end content and better boss fights and DLC content and all that other stuff. That was their reason for doing it, which was the right idea, because the story progression in certain games and MMOs and RPGs are very slow, and almost you want to die, like Final Fantasy 14. Some people don't have the time for that. Some people just want to have fun with their friends. Some people just want to play high level content. Some people are inspired because they saw some YouTuber or some streamer with some amazing loadout or build or Warframe or something, and they're like, oh, I want to be like that person. I want to destroy things. I want to be that kind of player. I want to, you know, be a one-man army, or I want to be like the best support. I want to be like the best at something. There's inspiration that gets people into games, and I don't think they should be restricted so harshly like Warframe does. Warframe is very harsh, has a lot of layers, It's a lot of details, has a lot of missing info that you have to find out of game. And it has a very restrictive progression at the moment. And that's what NPCs are for. There are plenty of NPCs in this game. Like I stated before, Darvo, Lotus, Margot, Ortis, Lotus. They all can be used. I don't know how Digital Extremes works with their voice actors, but they have the tools, they have the people, they have the manpower. And I think they can do it. I believe in them. And I feel like that is the main issue with Warframe. And that, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Yeah, you can say what you want to, you can ridicule me in comments below and all that other stuff, and dislike the video and whatever. I'm not saying this to bash DE. I love Digital Extremes. I've been playing the game for almost 4 going on 5 years. I started playing the game at update 9. That's how long I've been playing the game. So I love it. I want other people to love it. But I also want other people to not have to go through the harshness that I went through and that other people have gone through trying to figure out this game and trying to just have fun with it, you know? Like, it's such an open-end game. You got to make it easier for new players. I would hate to start over. Like, that's the reason why I don't play on Xbox, because I just don't want to start over. I just don't. And I try to help as many new players as I can. So those are my thoughts, and that's how I'm gonna end it. Those are my thoughts. Love you, DE. Love this game. Sorry I had to use Rob as an example. Hope he doesn't hate me for it, because he does such great videos and I don't want to throw him under the bus. But yeah, those are my thoughts. You know, I don't have a problem with Reddit or anything like that. I think that's all fine and healthy, but this new player experience, hopefully something can be done soon. All right. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.